All right, those of you at home, what you'll need to do is you'll need to pause this video and you will need to copy what's on the board on this side, please. And then you would need to pause the video again and write what is on this side because we're going to be using that today. Right now, we are starting on page number 88. We're going to do the practice problems on the 89. All right, so let's look. So if we look on here, those of you that just got on, make sure I showed you the video at the very beginning. I'm recording this, so make sure you go back to the video to write down what you need in your ISM book, okay? So if we look in our book on page 89, on here, we're trying to find the resultant magnitude and direction, okay? So if we look, we have the y-axis at 136 meters. Their x-axis in the question, it was telling us it's half the width. So to be able to do that, we just had to do half of the width of itself to get 115. And we're now looking for D, and now we're looking for the angle. So if we look at the problem, we've already got our answers for X, and we have our answers for Y. Now we're looking for D. Everybody good so far? Go to the next page on 89. So the first plan that we have to do after we've drawn our question. So what you're going to have to do with these ones that we're doing, you will need to draw and write the given. So you'll have to give me the given, and then you have to draw me what it looks like before you start solving, okay? So the first thing it says, choose an equation or a situation and use to find the magnitude of this displacement. The direction of displacement can be found using the tangent function. So it's giving us d squared equals change in x squared plus the change in y squared, okay? So to be able to do that, that is the first thing we'll need to do. The second thing we'll need to do is we need to find the angle, okay? So we're either going to use this angle or we're going to do the inverse, which this one, as you can see, we do the inverse. So the first thing we're doing in using the theorem, we're going to do the square root, okay? So the square root is what we're doing because we have d squared and we just need to find d. To find that, you have to square root the change in x squared plus the change in y squared. In your calculator, if you would please put your formula in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do square root. Square root is the blue x plus key. You're going to do 115. And you're going to square that. And then you're going to add 136. And you're going to square that. And hit enter. Everybody good? Sorry, y'all didn't have one. I looked around this morning and everybody had one, but I don't know what happened. Yep. Do a thumbs up if you found 178. I see all the rest of y'all. Y'all good. I know whose needs to be now. I understand that. Tanya, do you know where we're doing? Because you're looking around like you're crazy. We're on page 89, baby. And we are doing the question number, we're doing the D, finding D. You're doing square root of 115 squared plus 136 squared. Okay. Yes. Come here, sweetheart.
That 178.
Yep. Fantastic. Is it right there, babe? Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. So did everybody understand where I got my numbers from? That's very simple, right? It's a plug and chug. So once we find D, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find our angle. Do you understand why we're doing the reverse function? Tan -1. Okay, so let's put this in the calculator. Now your tan -1 is your blue tan. So you're going to have to do second tan -1, it should say. Then you're going to do alpha y inner 136 over 115. Close your bracket and hit enter. Did you get 49.78253249? Oh, I'm so sorry. You got to go and change your mode, please, to degrees. Yes. Okay, I did because I changed mine already. Okay. Now, make sure you put a little star beside that. Remind yourself when you're trying to find the angle, change to degree. Everybody good so far? Now, can I leave mine in degree mode? If I try to do where I'm trying to find D, is that going to still be the right answer? Try and see.
Wait, what you said?
Oh, yes. Still the same answer, isn't it? So can we just go ahead and change it in degree and leave it in degree? Right? Then we don't have to worry about it. Now, the only problem you're going to have is my CP kids will turn it back into radian. So you need to make sure you check. Everybody good? Okay? So then we have our answer. Do we have our answer? Yes. We have our answer for D and we have our answer for angle. Are you ready? Number one has nothing to do. It's just checking to see if you understand vectors. Are you ready? I'm going to read it to you, and then I want you to draw it on your paper. I'm going to come by and see it. Says a truck driver is attempting to deliver some furniture. First, he travels 8 kilometers east. So I want you to draw me a vector, and I want you to put down there and make sure you're drawing it in the east direction. Okay? Remember, we have north, south, east, and west. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to draw me a vector to the east, and I want you to label it 3 kilometers on the top. 8 kilometers. Thank you, baby. Everybody got it so far? So then he turns around and travels 3 kilometers west. All right. Now do 3 kilometers west with an arrow going west. 3. It's going to be smaller than the 8, right? Okay. Finally, he turns again and travels 12 kilometers east to his destination.
So do we start off from like where?
Okay. Does yours look like mine? He went 8 kilometers east, 3 kilometers west, 12 kilometers, right? So the first thing it's asking you is, what is the distance he traveled? How far did he travel? It's asking travel as a whole. 23 kilometers. Everybody got it? So write down 23 kilometers and then just, so we're just going to have that, right? That's total. All right. Now let's do what he was trying to do. The next thing asked us, what was his displacement? Well, 8 minus 3 is 5. 5. What are we going to do with this? Add it. What's my total? Total distance? How much his displacement was. I personally would have added both those together and subtracted that. That would have been easier for me. We would be the same number. This to this. 8 plus 12. What is that? 20. Minus 3.
For a vector, you need direction, right?
Direction and magnitude, yes.
We don't have a north, south, east, west on there. So can we say that's north?
Okay.
Like,
So-
as a group.
Hold on. So on your board, draw that on your board so that people will know what your north, south, east, and west is.
Yeah, that's not even any help, I thought.
Okay, do me a favor. Then that's east, this is west, north, and south.
Need to go far back. North one is that north. Up with the
Bye. Okay. So are we ready for number 2? Everybody good so far? It doesn't matter. We're going to use this as north, south, east, and west. Can we do that? And then that way we can use it back there too. No, ma'am, this is the practice problems for today. What we're doing here is we're just doing from today's questions from the reading assignment last night. Okay. Oh, I am so sorry. All right, number 2. While following the directions on a treasure map, a pirate walks 45 meters north. Okay? 45 meters north. Everybody so far? And it says that he turns and walks 7.5 east. Okay? Everybody good so far? And it says, what is the single line displacement could the pirate have taken to reach his treasure? So what are we going to do here? Okay. So our change in X equals 7.5 meters. Our change in Y equals 45.0 meters. So what I did is I drew my equation and I wrote my variables. What am I looking for? I'm looking for D and angle. Everybody good so far? Okay. So for D, we have to label. I always like to label my X and my Y so I know where I'm at. Yes. No. You're going to square root plus anyway, right? Not going to make a difference, is it? I just like my X going across and my Y going up and down. To me, X is along and Y is vertical. That's what I do. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my formula. What formula am I going to use? Okay. So then I'm going to do square root of my change in X, right? Right? Okay. So my change in X is 7.5 meters squared plus what I'm going to do, add that to. Okay. 45 meters squared. All right. Let's get our calculator. So we're going to do our square root. We're going to do 77.5, and I'm going to do that squared, and I'm going to add it.
Parentheses.
I did parentheses. You don't have to have it. What did we get? Okay, I got 45.6. I'm going to round it to 45.7. You can keep it at 45.6. I'm going to round mine to 45. No, I'm going to leave it at 46, 45.6. 45.6. Okay? 45.6.
So that's D.
That is D. Yes. Now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to have to find my angle. What formula am I going to use? Tangent negative, right? So that would be tan negative 1. Change in y. What is my change in y? 45 meters. Over my change in x. That's 7.5 meters. Are we good? Okay. Let's put it in our little calculator. So we're going to do tangent 1. We're going to do alpha y inner, 45 over 7.5. What do you get? 80.5. And that is my angle. Everybody good with the first problem? Questions, anyone? Dalton, you look, what's going on? You good or you just tired? Okay, just making sure. Does everybody understand how we did the first one? Okay, I want you to go ahead. You're going to do the second one by yourself because I'm going to go check on them and I'll feed back up. Well, so this is yours, right? So then your angle should. Yeah, on the frame right here, right? You see? Down, see? Have this triangle here, and then this is that. That's what I mean.
The two of them connect. Enter as the Y angle. This is a Y. That.
Huh?
That. Based on your X and Y. See how your X and Y, your back there, your square.
I didn't feel sad.
And then
Peter. I don't even know what I was gonna put up there. Okay, so let's look. Says Emily passes a soccer ball 6.0 meters directly across the field, right? At 6.0 meters. Then he kicks the ball directly down the field at 14.5 meters. What is the total displacement of the ball traveling from Emily to whoever that is? Okay. So what's my change in X? I'm going to say my change in X is here. My change in Y is here. Is everybody good so far? Okay. So if I'm looking for D, right? To find D, what am I going to do?
The square root of 6 to the power of 2 is 14.
Okay. So let's put it in our calculator. So alpha Y enter. Oh, I'm doing a square root. And I'm doing 6.0 squared plus 14.5 squared. What did y'all get?
15.
Oh, okay, 15.69. So can we say 15.7? Everybody good so far? So then the next thing we're going to do is we're trying to find the angle, right? So what are we going to use? Tangent 1, right? What numbers are we going to use? Tangent Y, which is 14.5, right? And we're going to divide that by 6.0 meters. Everybody good so far? Okay, so let's do tangent -1. And then I'm going to do alpha Y equal, we'll do 14.5 over 6.0. I'm going to close my bracket. Did you get 67.5? So my angle is 67.5. Are you feeling better? Everybody feeling better?
But which one would be the total?
So it's going to be 15.7 at a 67.5 degree angle. So think about what we did yesterday. Do you remember how we used our protractor to try to find the angle? Remember that? And we were trying to find the distance also. This is telling you at what distance it is, or distance, and this is telling you at what angle. And that's what we're looking for. Good so far. Can we go to the next one? All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one. Does everybody have that written down? Everybody good? Okay. Emily passes, which are we on number 4, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Hummingbird at 3.4 above ground flies at 1.2 straight up. So we've got 3.4 meters, and he flies up How many times, how far? 1.2, right? But it says there, upon spotting a foul, I'm sorry. I'm going to read it all and then I'm going to go back and gauge it. Give me just 1 second. Upon spotting the flower below, the hummingbird drops directly downward. So, how am I drawing this?
Wouldn't you draw it up 3.4? Because it says the hummingbird is 3.4 meters above the ground.
Uh-huh.
And then he flies along the straight path.
Correct. 3.4 here flies on a straight path in a positive or negative direction, or does it tell us? Okay, so let's say 1.2. All right. It says and when he spots a flower, he drops down to 1.4 meters to hover in front of the flower. So we're just trying to find displacement, aren't we? And so he goes down how much? 1.4. Okay. So if he goes up 3.4, we would subtract the 1.4. What total is that? 2. Is it going up or going down? If he went up 3.4 and he went down 1.4, the 2 would be going up, correct? This one's going up, this one's going down. It would still be going up, right? Okay? 1.2 is this direction right here, right? What are we trying to find? Okay? How would we do that? Displacement equals square root. All right. This is my change in X. This is my change in Y. My X always goes across, up and down is my Y axis. Everybody good so far? Okay. So what am I going to multiply first? 1.2 squared plus 2.0 squared. Only thing we're doing is trying to find the displacement, but then also we could find the angle too if we wanted to, right? Which we are going to try to do just to make sure we understand. Okay, so what did we get? Let's see. Square root of 1.2 squared plus 2.0 squared. What did you get? 2.3. Okay, so he went 2.33. Now let's find the angle. What are we looking for? Tangent -1, correct? What are we putting on top? Change in Y, which is 2.0 over the change in X, 1.2. All right, so let's see what we got. Tangent 2.0 over 1.2. Did you get 59? Do you feel good so far? I got 59. We just got finished doing this one. All right, guys, we're going over here next. So let's turn our page. Read over question number 91. All right. Question in the back, how close are you? Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. I haven't made it yet. Not maybe it's any minutes you need. 5. This.
Triangle at the top. Yes.
Okay, so let's look at what we've got here. What we've got here, it says a straight stretch of International Highway, 5 meters, California, pointed to California, 53.0 kilometers long, making it an angle at 48 degrees north of west. What is the northern western components of the highway section? So the first thing they did is they actually were able to find 53 because it tells us what D is. It also tells us what the angle is, but it doesn't tell us what our X or our Y is. Correct, guys? So the first thing that we're trying to do is we're taking our formulas of our sine and cosine, and we're changing our formula to find what we're looking for. Okay? So if you're looking for our sine, we're going to use the change in Y, right? And then to find our change in X, we're going to use cosine. Everybody good so far? So then what they're doing is they're taking our D, which is our displacement here, and we are doing it according to the angle because we've got both of those. Does everybody understand what we're doing? You have everything wrapped around your head. So after we get done with finding our change in X and change in Y, then we're going to put it in our regular formula to make sure our number is correct, to do a check number. So we're doing one more step because we're trying to find X and Y this time by getting the angle and getting the displacement. So we're doing totally different what we did before. Everybody good? First thing you'll need to do is when we read the problem, you will need to give me the variables. After that, find the unknown and then draw the situation. Everybody good? Flip over to the page to question number 1. How fast must a truck travel to stay beneath an airplane that is moving across at 105 kilometers per hour at an angle of 25 to the ground? If you turn over to page 90, 90 is showing you a moving scene where you have a truck and you have a plane. Do you see it? Use that to help you.
So today, are we turning in like, are we turning in anything from back there?
Your picture of how far you get, yes. Okay. So how did you draw yours to start with? Okay. So it says here, thank you, baby. How must a truck travel to stay beneath the plane? So we know a plane goes in the air, right? And a truck goes on the ground, correct? That's what our little picture showed. So if we look back on our picture, we have our V truck and our V plane. And we have our angle right there. Everybody good? So it says that the truck is traveling at, keep going for a second. Y'all keep going for just a minute. 105. So the truck is going 105, right? Airplane. Sorry. Thank you. What's my angle? 25 degrees. So far we got it mapped out right. Okay. So our B plane is 105 and our angle is 25. Is that what we got so far? So what are we going to do? This is my X. This is my Y, right? Okay. So I'm going to say velocity X, which is this right here, is going to be V cosine angle. Is everybody good so far? My V is 105 cosine and my angle is 25. Is that what you did? Okay, let's put it in our calculator and see what we get. Yes, ma'am? Ma'am? Yeah, 95.1, right? Okay,
Yeah, that's what
okay. So that is 95.1. What is that for? That's telling us how fast the truck is going, correct? What is the next thing that is there a next thing we have to do? No. Now, how can we check this? How can we check that? Yeah, plug it in. Plug it in and check it to make sure we're right. But that should be it. So based on that, that is 105. This right here is 95.1.
So with the speeding.
Yes. Here's the C. Guys, y'all ready? Go ahead and put your cards on your desk where they're supposed to be. Hide your map, please. No. All right, go. Let's try.
Okay, so what do you got here? Oh, okay. Y'all done? Okay, so where you went? In the pool. Right in the car. That's what I'm doing. Just trying to make sure everything's keep up.
Do that for your hair. No. Not even. More than that. I'm more than an inch. Right up to it.
Hey, Martha. Yes, it is awesome.
I'll make them for it.
Yeah.
That they want me to have.
They have a dog.
I mean, our cats are used to it.
It's always been like, dog.
Well, if anything, the cat will be scared. That's. Yeah. I heard my mom messaged her. Got her number. I heard my mom messaged her and asked her about it. She got her number.
I've already been there. I have a whole party.
Oh, yeah. No barbecue. Yeah, it's clear, but I like.
Thank you. Yeah, no massive.
Come on, I need a card. That definitely. Oh my goodness.
Shayla.
Which video? It's the one that's going on.
Don't need that. Something on the floor.
I'm trying to send you a show. It's got for 21.
All right, Elena. How, I don't even, hold on a second. I think I have to attach you to the board. Guys, y'all need to go ahead and turn, if you would, to page number 89 and get started. Give me 1 second, Elena, because I got to see if I can get you where I can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Don't know if it's going to work or not. We're going to find out.
Really got it. Like, it was a- Look, probably couldn't have followed.
Yes, you guys talk. Now get over here, y'all need to go ahead and start the conference. Over there is where we talk to each other, right? Not trying to me. Y'all, with the word call. 10:05, how many more minutes we got? It is 9:41.
What's gonna be the last time to know how?
5 minutes.
So we got 20 minutes in this. room. You don't mind this?
All right, Elena, can you speak to me, please?
Yes, ma'am.